Hi, my name is Ferran Recio. I'm one of the technical architects at Moodle HQ, and today I will present you which will be the process of migrating from Bootstrap 4 to Bootstrap 5 in Moodle Core. So, as you may know, Bootstrap 4 has been the main UI framework for Moodle since many years ago. And we use all the classes and helpers and HTML structures in almost all templates in core. So it is not something that we can unplug with a different version. So the process will take quite a long. It will run for like 3 versions of Moodle. We expect at least that will be 3 versions of Moodle until we are fully working in Bootstrap 5. So that's the first point of this presentation, to explain that it will take long to migrate because we want to do it in the safest way possible. So that means that in 4.4, we will do some previous work. Let's prepare all the things so we can start the process of migrating. It's not even migrating, it's just upgrade some stuff we have inside, prepare some templates where they are using obsolete things from Bootstrap 4, and adding some deprecation process so it will be easier for third-party plugins to migrate. So 4.4 will be a version where we just prepare the terrain. In 4.5 we will create some kind of bridge helpers. So we will start implementing new UIs using a kind of Bootstrap 5 syntax, but we still rely on Bootstrap 4. And then finally in 4.6, the idea is to upgrade finally to Bootstrap 5 and stop using Bootstrap 4. But we cannot do it like just removing all Bootstrap 4 and that's it. So we will keep some retrocompatibility for some special cases. So all third-party plugins, all country plugins will have some time to migrate to Bootstrap 5, because if for us take 3 releases to get to Bootstrap 5, we know that for plugins will be the same. So the final deprecation of Bootstrap 4 won't be exactly at 4.6. We will have an in-between state. So let's go deeper on those steps. So the first step, it's quite technical. It's upgrading one library that's called Popo.js. The Popo.js is a shared library between Moodle Core and Bootstrap. And the problem is that Bootstrap 4 is not compatible with Popo version 2. So we cannot upgrade it while we are using Bootstrap 4, but Bootstrap 5 is not compatible with version 1. So we need to solve this problem. And the way we will do it is by having both coexisting, Popper 1 and Popper 2. And each module can decide which one to use for some time. This will be a temporal solution. So Bootstrap 4 will continue using Popper 1, but all the rest of UIs that are using Popper, which is to locate things in a screen, like an action menu, for example, will be migrated to Popper 2. So that will be the first step. Quite technical, I know. It's just to add temporarily an upgraded version of a library, and then we will remove it when Bootstrap 5 it's completely in core. The other is more interesting, and it's a new thing in Moodle. As you may know, the SCSS in Moodle is quite big, and most of the times we don't remove classes because we don't know if a country plugin will use it or not. So the idea is to have a process to deprecate CSS classes and CSS styles. And that is a thing that will be integrated really soon in the master branch. And the idea is that we will have a new SCSS file called deprecated, and all the classes and rules defined there will include the mixing. I know it's quite technical, this part also, but it will be easier the next steps if we understand this part. So we create a special mixing called deprecated styles, that when you are in designer mode, you will notice that you are using a deprecated class. So for example, if you are in this example, if you are using the faux bar In that case, you will have a red box around that element and with a text saying that you are using a deprecated class. So the idea is that even Behats can test that this happens. It's not mandatory, but it will make it optional for now. So it will be easier to migrate HTML and CSS to the new classes. Once we have this preparation, we will do one last thing before going to the bridge phase, which will be to clean up some Bootstrap 4 classes. This is some recommendations that are straight taken from Bootstrap main page. So it's the part of the migration process they recommend. It's to clean some classes that they are necessary in Bootstrap 4, like for example, this one in the slide, that it's the batch primary. Batch primary, it's just setting the background. So we will replace this kind of classes by the most direct one. In that case will be background primary. We'll do the same, but using Bootstrap 5 syntax compatible. So that will be, that we'll do this with all the templates in core. So whenever we detect these kind of scenarios, we will clean up. When this happens, it will be 4.4. So when the 4.4 will came without any Bootstrap 5 thing yet, it will just prepare the term. But in the next release, we will start introducing what we call Bootstrap 5 bridges. Again, it's a recommendation from Bootstrap, so we are not inventing anything here. It's just some classes that will be renamed in general, or will be just a bit different in Bootstrap 5, but it's easy to create some SCSS rules to make work as Bootstrap 5. So the main example in that slide is the ASR only, which stands for screen reader only. It's a tag used for accessibility purpose, and we use it a lot because we are AA accessible. And this should be replaced by visually hidden. So it's easy to create a rule in Bootstrap 4 that uses the same rules as screen reader only, but with the name visual hidden. So this kind of changes is what will happen in 4.5. We will create this kind of class that are in between. They are using syntax from Bootstrap 5, but they work on Bootstrap 4. So we will get more time to adapt everything. Then we will arrive to the 4.6, which is presumably the version where we will upgrade to Bootstrap 5. And that is the main part of the project, what will be just removing Bootstrap 4 completely and just putting Bootstrap 5 and fix all the errors we will find, because we know that even if we prepare some bridges and everything, we will find some incompatibilities, or we will find some interface that they don't look as good as they could be in Bootstrap 5. Not everything could be a bridge. So we need to, this will take almost a full release to do it. However, if we just remove Bootstrap 4 and put Bootstrap 5, this will happen, but most third party will struggle migrating because they won't have enough time to migrate, because for us will be like 3 releases of preparing things, but for them can be just instantly. So to prevent this from happening, we have another step at the end, which will be to create some kind of backward compatibility for the main classes of Bootstrap 4. Again, this is a recommendation from Bootstrap. So we will create some, not all Bootstrap 4 will be compatible, of course, but at least some classes, we will create some Bootstrap 4 backward compatibility classes. What will be the point here? Those classes won't be regular ones. Those classes will be directly deprecated, which means that if you are using those classes and you are in designer mode, you will notice them. You will get a red error red box around them with a message saying that this is a deprecated class. So the idea of this is that you have time to migrate all your plugins to Bootstrap 5, but it will somehow work, not in the same way, not as pretty probably, but more or less the same. So that will be it. In the future, of course, in the next releases, we will remove those kind of deprecation. It's a deprecation process, but for the rest, that is the full process of migrating to Bootstrap 5. So thanks for your attention and have a nice Moot.